Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia with me, of course. Today is Joe Arico, and it's all of you, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, on a very busy day today. Trade deadline is here, and we've got some movements of big-time players switching teams, and we're going to break it all down for you right here. Don't forget to drop your comments below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can win that Juan Gonzalez jersey. Last day for this from pristineauction.com, and of course, we are on our twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, for Leading Off. Joe Rico, we are in trade heaven right now. This has been great. Every couple minutes we seem to be getting something else. And I guess we should start at the top with Eugenio Suarez going to the Seattle Mariners. Back home for Eugenio. What do you think?
I don't love it initially looking at it just because we've already seen this. We know exactly what Suarez has looked like as a Mariner, and it wasn't terrible. It was like 20 to 30 home run seasons. It wasn't bad, but what he's done in Arizona in a much better park has been phenomenal. I think if you look over the last, calendar year, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball all around. So I worry a little bit going to Seattle, but that lineup in Seattle, 2 through 6, is looking really sexy right now. So that's a little bit of a boost. But the park is going to hurt him a little bit, I think.
And I've been told, actually, right now, we have, was it JP Morosi we have? Oh, no, we couldn't get JP Morosi. Ken Rosenthal was busy with his bow tie. So we do have the Welsh here calling in, and of course, Mr. Diamondback himself to get his take. Eugenio Suarez gets dealt to the Mariners. Welsh, thanks for joining us on location today. Tell me, my friend, how do you feel about the pieces they got back?
Thanks, Joe. I'm actually on my way right now to drive to Mike Hazen to slap him for this trade. That's actually what I'm looking to do. I am on the location here, and I don't like the trade. It's bad fantasy for Suarez. He goes from one of the best right-handed ballparks in baseball to the worst. It's the worst ballpark factor for right-handed hitters. Home run, not good either. When he was a Mariner, we have a track record, a 230 average, 20-something homers. It's not great. It's a great lineup. It's fun. It's great for baseball. It's bad for fantasy. You know what is good for fantasy, though? Tyler Locklear. Tyler Locklear going straight to the Diamondbacks, big hard hit numbers, he gets all that right-handed goodness for him. I think Tyler Locklear is a pickup in fantasy right now because he's going to be starting from day one.
Okay. MLB Insider, the Welsh, joining us here. Welsh, also kind of surprising to some people, but not to this guy. Mason Miller got dealt. I think the surprising part here is that Leo DeVries is part of the equation. Now, I'm shocked by that part of it. But Welsh, you scoffed when I said Mason Miller should be somebody people are kicking the tires on. I think he's available. And if you're in the Oakland or the Sacramento Athletics, whatever the hell you are, Las Vegas Athletics, you might as well flip your closer, because what good is a closer to a team that's going to be 20 games under 500? So what'd you make of this deal? Miller going to the Padres, and now DeVries, one of the top prospects in baseball, in this deal. So young, so much time yet. What do you think from both the Padres and A's point of view here?
Yeah, I didn't scoff that people shouldn't look at Mason Miller. I scoffed because it would cost Leo DeVries. Why would a team pay that price? That's the scoffing. So I didn't think it was going to happen. I'm shocked at this one because, by the way, they already had 3 all-star relievers. What was the point of this? I don't understand. So that one's it's crazy to me. They got the A's. They got their future shortstop. They can build around him, or second baseman with Jacob Wilson. Here is the theory that I've heard that I really like here. Well, there's 2. A, they've set themselves up that they could now maybe go move Robert Suarez and Dylan Cease by getting Sears and Miller. Cool. I think that makes sense if they want to just kind of restructure their system. Another theory is they did this trade, did that haul because they're going to stretch out Mason Miller next year as a starter. And
That
I
was
think
my illusion too.
yeah, I think that's the fascinating one for fantasy long term that's going to save Preller. But this is the jaw dropper. This is the one we did on the live stream yesterday, Joe, where I'm like, are we going to have a jaw dropper? This was the jaw dropper.
All right, Arico, certainly jaw dropper from the sense of Mason Miller moving for one of the top prospects in baseball. He is just a reliever, but as Welsh said, if they plan on trying to start him again, I mean, we could have, again, Mason Miller, one of the top pitching prospects in baseball before he became just a closer, but that was because of the health concerns. Do you think the Padres are rolling the dice here in a good way or a bad way?
I think it's worth it. How many prospects don't work out? a lot of them end up having decent careers, especially when you got a top prospect like DeVries. But I can't fault a team for going for it. The thing that Welsh pointed out about the pen is definitely interesting because they have three All-Star relievers already. But I think Suarez probably will get moved. I'm seeing conflicting reports. Bob Nightingale said he's not going to get moved. Some people think he will get moved. Either way, they've got a great asset in Miller, who is locked up for the next 4 years, I believe, and they have some flexibility with him. If they want to try him as a starter again next year in the spring and see if they can stretch him out, so they can go that route. And if not, then you have arguably the best closer in baseball still. Robert Suarez has been good, but he's also a guy who's overperformed his expected numbers for the last couple of seasons. So I don't have any big problem with it. The thing that people will look at from a Padre fan point of view is they've done this kind of thing before a couple of years ago when they traded top prospects to try and get Juan Soto, and they did. And I don't want to say it backfired necessarily, but James Wood, Gore, Abrams, those guys are all looking really good. So I wonder what Padres fans think about this. Maybe we should bring Callie on to see what he thinks.
Well, Callie seems good about it because Callie's looking at Suarez potentially being that guy. We'll try to fix Joe's audio here in a second. More to get to also. We also had Shane Bieber going from the Guardians to the Blue Jays. Joe Arrico must be pretty excited about this. Welsh, I want to get your take on this real quick because Shane Bieber hasn't thrown a pitch in the major leagues this year. He's still working his way back. So I think, look, long term, this is a great deal for the Blue Jays because I think the Max Scherzer experiment is a one and done kind of scenario. But what do you think about Welsh, the Shane Bieber 2025 aspect? How much can he give the Blue Jays in this pennant race? Do we still have the Welsh? Did we lose him in Arizona? I think he drove into a cactus. It's very possible he drove into a cactus. Well, let's get the Blue Jays guy take on it then. Joe Arrico, your thoughts here on, and again, thank you, the Welsh MLB Insider, for joining us today. Joe Arrico, your thoughts on Shane Bieber. Look, take your fandom out of it now. Just business. What do you think of this move here by the Jays to bolster this rotation?
It's probably not what I would have done, but at the same time, there's a lot of volatility in this rotation. Eric Lauer has been really good, but he's also a guy that doesn't have a long track record of success. He could turn back into a pumpkin at any time. Scherzer's a total wild card. Bassett and Barrios, they can give you great outings. They can give you horrible outings. What Bieber gives you is a ceiling. He gives you a guy who has won a Cy Young, albeit in a shortened season, and a guy who could legitimately start game one of a playoff series, maybe game two, best case scenario for the Blue Jays, if he does look like he's getting right. And this is the thing with Bieber. He's a free agent at the end of the year, but he does have an option. He's a player option for next year. So either A, he looks great for the Blue Jays down the stretch and really helps them out, make a run at the postseason, or he looks kind of poor down the stretch. He picks up that option because I believe it's $14 or $16 million, and you probably wouldn't beat that on the market if he really, really stumbles down the stretch. So either the Blue Jays get a great contributor down the stretch this year, or they get to keep Shane Bieber into next year. So either way, I look at it, I think it's probably a pretty positive move here to add some starting pitching depth.
Let's get CC's question here. Should I be tempted to snag Alcantara? Yes, do it right now. Schlittler, drop him, get Alcantara. That's a no-brainer. Should have done that 2 days ago. Welsh, do we have Welsh back here with us? Welsh, your thoughts on the Bieber deal?
Yes, Joe, I am still here. Thank you.
First time, long time.
Yeah. Very big fan of yours, by the way. I love this trade. I love this trade for both sides, actually, because this is exactly what the Blue Jays needed. I don't know what this is going to help for the rest of this year, but they have to make these type of moves. For fantasy long term, I think this is going to be. But
we're losing Welsh again. Again, Arizona is not the best play. We are. Well, see if we can get you right now. Go ahead, try one more time.
Yeah, I just wanted to say Cal Steven, who the Guardians got in the trade, he's a demon. He's a monster. It's a huge, huge get, Cal Steven, in Dynasty and Double-A. He was having like a 2 ERA season, moved up to Double-A. It's a really good get. So this is actually a good trade for both teams.
All right, Welsh, again, MLB Insider, thanks for joining us. Let's get to go enjoy the rest of your day. There you go. Let's get to some relief guys getting moved. The Phillies got a closer, Jhoan Duran, for the Twins. They had to give up McAble, but that's a great move. Joe Rico, this is the thing that the Twins, look, they've been kind of flirting around with for a while, that they need to move on, and Carlos Correa rumors are abound right now. But for the Phillies, this is what they've lacked. This has been their Achilles heel for the last 3 seasons here. Finally, they got their closer. I know they paid a lot, but to me, this is your window if you're the Phillies, especially if the Dodgers are a little weak this year.
Yeah, the market's been pretty wild on relievers with some returns looking massive. I was watching the live stream yesterday for that Mets trade. The market is insane. The market always does become a little bit insane, but I think it's a relatively reasonable price. Duran is somebody who you could argue is like a top 5 closer in baseball pretty comfortably if you look at the advanced numbers that he's put together for the last several seasons. He's putting up like mid to low 2 ERAs with massive strikeout numbers, good command, massive stuff. And like you've mentioned, the Phillies have really needed this. Romano has been awful. Alvarado got suspended. The other guys have been okay, the Matt Stroms of the world, but now they have a complete shutdown guy in Duran. What I'm interested here, mostly from a fantasy point of view, because nothing really changes for Duran, it's maybe Mick Abel gets more of a run than he would have. And I know they sent him down yesterday, but the Twins are in kind of a rough spot for pitching. Lopez out, Festa out, Ober stinks. Like, they got 3 pitchers right now, so I think Mick Abel is probably going to get a decent bit of run here in the last couple months of the season.
I would agree. The Mets were busy bees on the trade front as well, acquiring Ryan Helsley for not too much, and then Tyler Rogers for more than we thought. So, look, I like these moves. I guess Blade Tidwell and Drew Gilbert just weren't in the plans, and I can understand that. They were just blocked. I would have thought that if you told me these were the guys we moved for a reliever, there was 2 different deals, and you said, okay, name the reliever, I would have said Helsley was the one with Tidwell and Drew Gilbert. That's what surprised me, and Buto. Like, if you play that matching game like in the highlights magazine when you're a kid, and you got to match the things. I would have matched those prospects to that reliever, not Rogers necessarily. But look, Rogers has a 1.8 ERA on the year. He's been terrific. He's tough to hit. He's a tough location there with the arm slot and the arm angle he has. And then Helsley, look, that's a pretty good 7, 8, 9 inning combo with Diaz now in that Mets bullpen. But I don't think they're done. Do you?
Probably not now. They're going to have to try and one-up this Mason Miller deal. I don't know if it's going to be another bullpen acquisition or if it'll be – I've seen a ton of Luis Robert rumors. They're going to do something. They are definitely going to keep the pieces moving here. Initially when I saw that return, I was kind of startled like you guys were. But the more I looked into Drew Gilbert, Blade Tidwell, I don't think they gave up as much as it's perceived to be. I really don't. Gilbert is a guy who couldn't beat out Tyrone Taylor for a starting job this year, and he's had kind of – pretty good numbers in the minors. He's hitting 252. He's got an 800 OPS, which is fine. But then Tidwell is kind of looking like he's trending more towards a reliever. So I don't. It looks like a lot, but I think it's actually not too bad of a trade for the Mets, Joe.
All right. I remember trading Scott Kazmir for Victor Zambrano. I remember when that happened and almost drove off the road. Not because, I was just mad because it was the theory of you could have gotten more for that player. Not that I was in love with Kazmir, but like sometimes it's the principle of it. But I get it. Obviously, the regime there is not fond of those guys. Big news too, not trade related. Shohei Ohtani was removed yesterday. 51 pitches. It apparently was cramping. Everybody kind of lost their mind on the internet, but I understand why, because that is one injury we can't afford to happen to Shohei Ohtani, right? We can't afford to have him miss any period of time. He stayed in to hit, so that's the good news. Yeah. Joe Rico, what was your temperature level here on that last night when you saw the news that Shohei Ohtani throwing 4 balls, looking really uncomfortable, and then walking off the mound with the trainer?
With the recent news over the last week, you see you guys start spiking balls in the dirt and you think, uh-oh. But no, I think I initially thought this was an arm injury of some kind. So hearing that it's something lower body related, it's a huge relief. Now, if something is going to go, if they're going to try and preserve his health, it'll be the pitching. They're not going to, remove him from the lineup. So maybe they take the foot off the gas a little bit in terms of how much he's pitching down the stretch. They don't try and get him to 5-6 innings, but I think we dodged the bullet here.
Yeah. Wonky saying, I really should call in to say, everyone hates the rebuild. Everyone also hates that only coastal teams are making moves, and we have to hear about them constantly again. Well, tell the Cubs to do something. Poke them with a stick, Wonky. What are you going to do? I mean, come on here. Here's one from I am going debating trading Shane Bieber for 2nd overall pick in the draft and draft Ethan Holiday or Murakami. I don't have a problem with that. Look, Bieber's already had the Tommy John, but I don't have a problem with that, taking Ethan Holiday. If you can get Ethan Holiday, and leaving Cade would be good too. So, Joe, you got any problems with that?
I'm surprised that Bieber would even be able to get you the 102 in a first-year player draft, honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if someone's trying to get in there and, get over the top, Bieber's a piece that could help now go into a contender too. So, better situation. Some smaller deals. Zach Littell gets dealt to the Reds. That's not surprising because he was out of options, and the Rays don't want to pay anybody. Mike Soroka getting traded to the Cubs. There you go, Wonky. There's a big Cubs move. It's a huge seismic move. Mike Soroka, the savior of the rotation for the Cubs. And then the Reds also acquired Bryan Hayes, which is, I mean, I went off on the live stream yesterday on this because Bryan Hayes is, to me, is an abject failure as a everyday player. I mean, he is. What's his career OPS, Joe? Don't look. Tell me, because I know it because we played this game yesterday. His career OPS, what do you think it is?
625.
It's not that bad. It's 676, but that's pretty brutal. Anything under 700 is brutal for a guy who's been in the big leagues for 5 years. He's a good defender, sure. But, I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. Steven Matz was also traded. So there you go. Red Sox got somebody there. Let's get to some of the performances. Joe Rico will keep me abreast of any deals that might come through during these headlines. Logan Webb, 11 strikeouts. Shota Imanaga, 8 strikeouts yesterday. And Darvish, turning back the clock, 7 Ks, 7 shutout innings. Who's that guy? Crazy. The Mets get swept by Michael Callie's Padres. And on top of that, Manny Machado talking crap after, too. So maybe they should have... did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Something about like maybe the Mets should have paid more money so they could buy some heart or something like that. Like, oh, all right, Manny Machado. I see, because Manny Machado never got a giant contract before. Yeah, sure, Manny. Nate Eovaldi struck out 4 in 7 innings. He continues to be really good. We'll see if he sticks with the Rangers today. Clay Holmes, look, he was one of our biggest sells a couple weeks ago. Hopefully you were watching the shows and you moved on because 4 runs, 2 earned, 3 2/3. He's hit the complete wall. He is done. The Mets definitely need to get a starting pitcher and another bat. Hopefully they will today. Jose Altuve, great day for him. 4 for 4 with a 3-run homer. Devin Williams blew another save. Are we starting to get rickety and shaky here with Devin Williams again, Joe?
I got this question a couple times yesterday, and I don't think so. He's been the last couple of appearances have been bad, but he was really, really good for months before that. So I'm not too worried. If you have a free spot and want to add Luke Weaver, I guess maybe, but even then, I don't think it's worth it.
Lee wants to know, will the Mets add a bat? Yes, I do believe they will. I think it will be Luis Robert. Does Cleveland sell Quan? Yes, I believe that happens too. Where he goes, I'm not sure. That's more of a...
They should trade everybody, man. Like, they should trade Jose Ramirez at this point. Like, what are they even doing? What are they playing?
Well, Jose Ramirez is, that would be a blockbuster of epic proportions there. But, like, what does that deal, what was the framework of a deal like that even look like?
I mean, we just saw a reliever get traded for the number 3 overall prospect in baseball. I feel like if you're trading J-Ram, you should be able to get, like, 2 top 10 prospects plus more.
But who's got that kind of prospect capital that's a contender right now?
The Dodgers... I mean, I don't want to see it, but the Dodgers potentially. I don't think it's going to happen, but just the way that their organization.
Well, that would be what? That would be rushing. It would be
Hope, rushing and Hope, and some couple other pieces.
Sheehan in there too. I mean,
I just from Cleveland's point of view, why bother keeping anybody at this point? Like they don't. I don't know.
Because you were a playoff team last year. I mean, they were a playoff team a year ago.
They do this thing where it's every other year. They seem to look really good, and then they look terrible. And now they've got rid of Bieber. Clase looks like he's toast. I just don't know what the next few years look like. I feel like, Ramirez is 32, 33. Cashing in on him now. They're not going to do it, but I think they should.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's get to the rookie Lookie. Colson Montgomery, his 5th home run. It's amazing. It's been like the Colson Montgomery segment here in Rookie Lookie. What do you make of this performance from him over the last week or so from the All-Star break? He's been red hot, Colson.
Yeah, he's not somebody that I have any shares of, so he's not a guy that I've dug in too deeply on. But from what we've seen so far, he's not being overmatched at all at the plate. 23% strikeout rate, 7% walk rate. He's barreling the ball up a lot, 12% of the time. The hard hit rate isn't great, but overall, this is what you kind of want to see when a guy first comes up. He's not being overmatched at all. The swinging strike rate is a little bit too high. Would like to see a little bit more contact, but this is a very solid performance for somebody's first month in the show. This is what you want to see.
So, Sports just dropped a comment here. These teams still need to compete for next year. Is this the last year of baseball? No, but next year is. Next year is for a while because they're going to. If you think that they're not going to miss any time next year or 2 years from now, you're crazy because you could already see them laying the groundwork for it. And it's so ignorant. It's so stupid. It's only going to hurt the fans and the sport and everybody else who works around it. And it's going to be really frustrating. But leading off will be here regardless. We'll do a daily show talking fun baseball stuff. If you want to show up here and talk baseball, we'll talk old baseball. We'll do our all-time teams. We'll do our favorite, we'll play MLB The Show. Yeah, there you go. Let's go. Would you watch, let's put a poll up. Would you watch Welsh and myself play MLB The Show on this channel and just talk crap to each other? I want to say you probably will. I want to say that it's a hard yes for most of the people in this chat. But we're going to be here. Don't worry. Regardless, it's a long time away. Rumor mill, Justin Verlander could be on the trade market, but that is courtesy of John Morosi, which means it's not true and it's not happening. Red Sox are now remember this tomorrow. If Verlander actually gets traded, it'll be the first thing he gets right. But I'm going to leave this in the show tomorrow to remind everybody that that guy's got, I mean, it's the equivalent of me just saying things, and I was right about Mason Miller. And I just said it out loud on Monday when nobody was talking about Mason Miller getting done. I hear one rumor about that. The Red Sox are apparently in the mix for Dylan Cease. So Suarez and Cease to the Red Sox for Jhoan Duran?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, Chapman is banged up. I think he came back and he's okay, but he's also like 38 years old. I don't know if Suarez will be their closer of the future per se, but I think that does make sense for both squads. I think that Cease is going to get moved. I think he should get moved. He kind of needs a change of scenery after what we've seen this year.
All right. Want to shout out a couple people here in the chat. We got Pats for Life, first time chatter. So Pats, make sure you follow us also for the NFL stuff. That's coming later today. And I'll be back here at 5 o'clock for that. You can check out all of our NFL schedule. Actually, we're here every day for NFL too. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Mondays at 4, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 2, and Thursdays and Fridays at Friday. I like fries. Fridays at 5. And of course, go vote in the poll right now. Would you just watch us play MLB The Show in 2 years when there's no baseball? And Drunken Redneck hanging out with us just followed us. Yeah, let's go. We accept all comers here. So come hang out with us. Let's talk some baseball. Let's get to the 3 up and 3 down. Jeffrey Springs, 1 run, 6 innings, 7 Ks. Miguel Andujar with a pair of dingers. And William Contreras with a pair of his own. Only his 7th and 8th. William Contreras, brutal season for him, Joe. I mean, what a huge regression that I don't think anybody quite saw coming to this extent. Hopefully, he can pull it together for the end of the season.
So here's the thing with Willie. He's been playing with a broken finger the whole year. And they've said that if he were going to go on the injured list, it would be for season-ending surgery, which they said early on in the year that they don't want him to do. But the result of that has been subpar William Contreras. So if he does get some kind of surgery done in the offseason and they fix that finger up, I feel like he'll be a nice guy to buy the dip on next year because he will not be like he was like a 3rd-round pick in a lot of rooms this year. He'll be like outside of the top 100, and I think he'd be a decent buy low next season.
I've got more rumors, but let's get through the downs first here. The downs, Bryan Woo, 5 runs and 6 1/3. That's back-to-back bad ones for Bryan Woo. McKenzie Gore was roughed up by the Astros yesterday, 6 runs, 5 1/3. And Freddie Peralta, 5 runs, 4 innings Wednesday against the Cubs. It was a season-high 4 walks, shortest start of the year. Look, they can't all be gems. However, speaking of McKenzie Gore, apparently the New York Post's John Heyman is reporting that the Cubs are doing their best to get McKenzie Gore. Bob Nightingale is saying the Astros and the Twins deal with Carlos Correa basically is dead at this point, and apparently Ramon Laureano, who's having a better season than I realized, I'll be honest. I got 0 shares. I haven't just been following much of the Orioles, but under the radar, good season. The Phillies apparently looking to add him potentially. Now that's a smart move too. They've had some trouble in that outfield. Certainly a great defender. The question is, would they have to move a Crawford or somebody like that to get Laureano?
Man, Justin Crawford. I really like Justin Crawford. It might be him. And honestly, I wonder what he'll look like at the big league level with his ground ball rate and without a ton of power. So maybe that would be the move. And with this market, with these big names being moved, maybe that is the cost. It feels expensive for a Laureano in his mid-30s, but maybe that's what the market is dictating right now.
We got Wonky Penguins' hopes up for a potential McKenzie Gore to the Cubs deal. We'll see. Don't get too excited. My guess is it won't happen. Injuries. Ronald Acuna clarity. Let's start there. He's been diagnosed with a grade 1 right calf strain, so he's going to miss about 2 to 3 weeks, so that's not great. I'm in fantasy playoffs already. Don't love that. Isaac Paredes is going to miss at least 2 months, so something's got to give here with the Astros. Jeremy Pena went 1 for 4 in a rehab start, so he should hopefully be back by the weekend. Francisco Alvarez dodged a bullet there, clear concussion protocol. He got hit with a bat yesterday on a swing. Juan Soto is going to be back on Friday. He's dealing with a little hamstring issue. And then Brandon Lau was activated from the IL. Also, Roki Sasaki scheduled to face hitters this week, and Max Muncy could return some point later in the week. Blake Snell will be activated Saturday against the Rays. Here's the big question, Joe. Do you start Blake Snell against the Rays on Saturday and just throw caution to the wind?
I mean, ideally you don't start him. There was a couple of weekly lineups where I was just so down bad for pitching, a lot of like draft and hold leagues where I put him in the lineup just hoping that he'd get the start, and he did. But I think for most of you in 10 and 12 team leagues, you can kind of pick and choose your spots there, especially because it's going to come. I believe it's going to come over the weekend. You said, right?
Saturday against the Rays.
If you're in a head-to-head league, I think you can kind of just dictate that based on how your week has gone and if you need the stats.
Here's Baby Billy here. Speaking of football, why was Welsh so salty on the 12-team draft about Happy Gilmore too? Yeah, he didn't like it at all, which, I mean, I don't know what he was expecting. Like, was he expecting
Citizen
cinema?
Kane?
Yeah. It was fine. Like, I was expecting worse, so therefore my expectations were so low. I enjoyed it. When I watch it a second time, like, it's one of those things, like, Happy Gilmore was always on TV, so you always would just watch it.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite of the Sandler movies. I'm still a Billy Madison guy at heart. Joe Rico, did you watch the Happy Gilmore too, or what?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I will eventually watch it. I was kind of upset that they didn't get a theatrical release for it. That would have been one where you have a couple drinks with the fellas, Saturday night, you relive your childhood, you drink and watch Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. Sankath Boss just followed us. Shout out. And Wellflex, first time chatter. Welcome to the Twitch here, hanging out with us at Fantasy Pros. And I heard that the Naked Gun movie got fantastic reviews. I don't know if you've seen this. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. People are raving it's the best comedy in years, which I gotta say, it's weird enough that I want to see it. Like Liam Neeson in a comedy, I just want to see it. Although he was in A Million Ways to Die in the West, and he was okay in that, but he wasn't like the funny character. He was the bad guy. So I don't know.
That was the Seth MacFarlane one, right?
It's a good comedy. Yeah. That was a pretty good one. I like that one. You know what else I like? Betting a slate of baseball at no games. It's time for the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and Joey O. Let's talk about my same game parlay today. There's not a lot of games, so we're gonna just focus on one here, and I want to focus on the Reds game here. Carlos Carrasco is on the mound here for the Braves, and I think it's going to be a long night for him. So give me the Cincinnati Reds and Andrew Abbott on the mound on the run line, plus 118, minus 1.5. Give me Ellie De La Cruz to steal a base at plus 194. And give me under 3.5 strikeouts for Carlos Carrasco at also plus money, plus 102. You put those three things together, plus 828, 8-1, $10 will win you $80 just for showing up. Joe Rico, I know it's a limited slate, but what are your best bets for tonight?
I tried to pick stuff from the evening games, but I did get one from the Yankee game that's going to be starting in about half an hour. So this one before the live listeners. Marcus Stroman stinks. Under 3.5 strikeouts. I don't expect him to go very deep into this one. So I could definitely see the under hitting. It's a little bit juiced, but we are, like Joe mentioned, dealing with a total of 3 games today. Seattle's money line, George Kirby versus Kumar Rocker. This one, even though, again, juiced to minus 160, take the money. Do not look for the massive value lines here. That's just free money, I think, George Kirby versus Kumar Rocker. And then Andrew Abbott at plus 128 to go under his strikeout total at 4.5 against Atlanta. He has gone over it a couple of times, but he's also a guy who doesn't have great stuff, and he has put up 2 and 4 strikeout totals over the last 5 games as well. So taking a little bit of a chance with Andrew Abbott there at plus 128 to go under his strikeout prop.
All right, don't forget, everybody, go place your bets over at FanDuel. Go to fantasypros.com/leading-off. Bet $5, go in $250 in bonus bets when your first bet hits. Only at FanDuel at fantasypros.com/leading-off. And use that promo code leading off when you download the Betting Pros app. Get 7 free days of the premium Betting Pros tools, the best tools on the planet. Bet smarter, not harder with Betting Pros. Let's take a look at the home run board and see if the tie is broken. It is not. George and Whip still tied at 44. Grouch and far out at 42. Right behind, Wonky Penguin at 36. The Sammy Sosa jersey from Pristine Auction autographed is on the line. Join our Discord. Maybe you can get 30 home runs in the last couple months there. Joe Rico, where are you going for your home run call tonight? Limited slate. What are you going to do?
I'm taking the chalk. I'm going big dumper Cal Raleigh against Kumar Rocker tonight.
Me too. Make it 2 for 2. Both of us on the same page. So tomorrow we'll recap a lot more of the trade deadline. What else went down? We've got a few hours left, about 5-6 hours left. So it should be live. It should be fun. And we're going to be here for all of it. That's for tuning in, everybody. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Joe Rico and our MLB insider, the Welsh, I'm Joe Pisapia. We'll see you next time, kids. Peace. Happy trade deadline.
My last show with Joey P until January. Actually, I'm going to try and get on to the season finale. I'm going to try and make that happen if we can. But
one more to go.
Been a pleasure, my friend.
Likewise.
Let's see what the Blue Jays